Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya We'll carve in. No mic? Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, text number 9, if I'm not incorrect. 2 days in a row. Mrigoshra Kara Markyaku Sarip, Saristrip Kaga Makshika. Sarisrip Kaga Makshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyed. Teresham Antaram Kiyat. Brigostra Kara Marakaku. Sarisrip Kaga Makshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyet. Teresham Antaram Kiyat. Mrikoshtra Kara Markaku. Sarisrip Kaga Makshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyed. Teresham Antaram Kiyat. Mrikoshtra Kara Markaku. Sarisrip Kaga Makshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyed. Teresham Antaram Kiyat. Vaishnavis. Brigoshtra Karamarkaku. Sarisrip Kagamakshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyed. Teresham Antaram Kiyat. Unamas? Or egg? Muchido? There's no more Vaishnavis. Wow, okay. Mriga, deer. Ushtra, camels. Kara, asses. Marka, monkeys. Aku, mice. Sarisrip, snakes. Kaga, birds. Makshika, flies. Atmana, of oneself. Putravat, like the sons. Pashyet, one should see. Tai, with those sons. Esham, of these animals. Antaram, difference. Kiyat, how little. Translation. One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies, exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. Would you like to repeat? One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies, exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai. One who is in Krishna consciousness understands that there is no difference between the animals and the innocent children in one's home. Even in ordinary life, it is our practical experience that a household dog or cat is regarded on the same level as one's children, without any envy. Like children, the unintelligent animals are also sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, a Krishna-conscious person, even though a householder, should not discriminate between children and poor animals. Unfortunately, modern society has devised many means for killing animals in different forms of life. For example, in the agricultural fields, there may be many mice, flies, and other creatures that disturb production, and sometimes they are killed by pesticides. In this verse, however, such killing is forbidden. Every living entity should be nourished by the food given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Human society should not consider itself the only enjoyer of all the properties of God. Rather, men should understand that all the other animals also have a claim to God's property. In this verse, even the snake is mentioned, indicating that a householder should not be envious even of a snake. If everyone is fully satisfied by eating food that is a gift from the Lord, why should there be envy between one living being and another? In modern days, people are very much inclined toward communistic ideas of society, but we do not think that there could be any better communistic idea than that which is explained in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even in the communistic countries, the poor animals are killed without consideration, although they should have the right to take their allotted food with which to live. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gopremanande Hari Bol. So this envy is a pervasive attitude in the material world. There's a sense that everyone wants to take advantage of someone else in order to better themselves, and thinks that only I should live and everybody else should die or be punished or go down. And the culture of God consciousness means that one has to give up such envy. One has to be purified of this envious feeling and learn to be merciful to all living entities, and also to cooperate with all people that we meet in appropriate ways. There's a statement at the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Protitakaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is meant or can be entered into by those who are not envious. And this is a very moving verse. It's being spoken by Narada Muni. This specific section about Varnashram is addressing Grahastas. Those who live in a house are given the instruction to take care of others. But this instruction can apply to everyone who's a Vaishnav, because Vaishnavas are paradukha dukhi. That means they suffer because of the suffering of others. And they also see that there's a purpose to human life, and without taking advantage of the purpose of human life, one loses a great opportunity So the devotees don't want others to lose this opportunity. They feel actual pain to see the masses of people who are being misled by their own minds and by the material energy and by demoniac forces and people. So the way of Vaishnavism is simplicity. And this means, first of all, becoming self-sufficient oneself. That I feel satisfied by my own practice of Krishna consciousness, and I understand that whatever I have and whatever I will get in the future is coming only by the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, I needn't struggle so hard to take from others. This includes the stature that one has in the world. No one has to struggle very hard to present oneself as someone great, because this is all, whatever we have, whatever stature we have, is bequeathed to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead anyway. And devotees, for instance, who are extremely advanced, don't seek fame or any other kind of artificial designation, because they know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is caring for them, and that whatever position they're given is due to the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what to speak of dealings with creatures like mice and monkeys and all other kinds of lower creatures, and seeing them as our wards, that they're helpless in many ways, and we should be kind to them and not kill them unnecessarily. So similarly, in our interactions with other human beings, what to speak of with devotees, we should also be very careful and develop loving relationships. This is something that Rupa Goswami brings up early on in the Upadeshamrita. Dadati pratigunati kuyamakyati prachiti bhunkte bojayate chaiva shadvidam pratilakshanam. And that is that there are 6 loving exchanges between devotees. Giving gifts, accepting gifts, giving prasad, accepting prasad, revealing one's mind in confidence, and hearing others reveal their mind in confidence. And Prabhupada mentions that this is the way in which the Krishna consciousness movement goes on, by these loving exchanges. And Rupa Goswami also tells us that we have to learn how to associate with devotees according to their position. He says, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatipishta bhajantamisham shushushaya bhajana vignamananyamanya nindari shunya hridamipsita sangalabhya. And that is, we should see the various levels of devotees. And the devotees who are able to say Hare Krishna, this means anybody in the general population who can say Hare Krishna or appreciates Hare Krishna, that person we should honor within our mind. Can you do that? Possible? Do you do that? Do you like doing that? Prabhupada mentions George Harrison in his purport. He said he's not an initiated devotee, but because he likes chanting Hare Krishna, we honor him because he likes Hare Krishna. And he says Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the same thing. Anyone who can say Hare Krishna, we should appreciate. We should show appreciation for them in our mind. And then he said, Rupa Goswami, that when someone becomes determined to chant Hare Krishna and has faith in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, that is, they understand that this is the essence of all religious practices, and they take a vow, they take initiation, and they go on chanting Hare Krishna, we should demonstratively offer our respects to such a person. How might one do that? demonstrate? How would you demonstratively offer your respect that's coming from your heart to a devotee who's initiated? How about this? You do this, or you do this, or you do this. So there's 3 types of obeisance. One is like this, as being shown by Shamyapras. Number 1, see this? 1, 2, 3. Right? You want to try? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So in number 2, make sure you get your elbows down, because that's also in the Shastra. You'll read this in the beginning of the Bhagavatamrita. Elbows touching, hands touching. And also, don't offer obeisances on one hand or holding. You didn't do that, but I'm just saying, holding something else nonchalantly. They'll probably call it a chopping method. Anyway, those are technicalities. But the point is that one should demonstratively offer obeisances to those who have taken initiation diksha. What does that mean? I mean, what does it indicate? Yes, Prabhu?
Indicates that they're worshipable.
What does worship mean?
They deserve respect.
Yes, he knows what it means. They deserve respect, and
I believe you mentioned that the root comes from where you place your worth.
Yeah, originally the word is worth, what you put value, where you put what you value, and when you put a ship on the end, it turns it into a noun. So worth becomes worship. So you're showing your respect, and you're saying that I value this. There's great value here. So you're showing your offering obeisances. And also the verse goes on to say that there are some who have become very accomplished in the practice of chanting Hare Krishna. That means that it becomes steady. Steadiness is of great value, because over 3 years, 5 years, somebody might be able to stay steady, but then over 10 years, 20 years, longer, then it starts to be a little harder. I mean, people can keep up something for a month, 2 months, 5 months, a few years, but over a long period of time, if someone's able to remain steady, that becomes worshipable. So this is one of the aspects. And then also, if we see that someone has become purified in their heart, and Rupa Goswami says they become free from the propensity in their heart to criticize others. They don't have envy in their heart. They have great appreciation for other living entities. So they don't have that tendency to denigrate others when they see others doing something great, or even if they see somebody down, they don't try to kick them while they're down. They try to find some good quality, even if there is none. And so these are 3 levels of interacting with devotees. And if one knows how to interact with all living entities, when you see the lower living entities, you show them kindness like they're your own sons. And when you see the devotees, you know how to interact with them. And then the general mass of people, there's instruction about how we can interact with them, given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Ishvare taradineshu bali sheshu tuisatsucha prema maitri kripopeksha yakaroti samadhyamaha. You should see that there are some people who are devotees, and you can recognize a devotee. How can you recognize a devotee? They might have japamala. Maybe they have neck beads on. Okay. How else can you recognize a devotee?
They have devotion.
They have devotion. How do you know if they have devotion to God?
Because they have a practice by which they express their devotion in one of the forms of bhakti.
Nice. Have you ever met anybody out walking in the world and you've met somebody that has devotion to God?
Yeah, sometimes people, you talk to them and you find out that they're really into praying, or, they like to sing about the glories of God or different things, and that's bhakti, so therefore they're a devotee.
Yeah. So when we find somebody that's a devotee, then we should make friendship appropriately. As was just mentioned in the previous verse, there are different levels of devotees, and some of them we offer respect in our mind, others we offer respect demonstratively, 1, 2, 3. And then there's others, and I didn't mention the last part. Rupa Goswami said, going back to the previous verse, and when you find somebody who's very advanced, that is steady, and that is free from the propensity to criticize others. And Prabhupada said that the person's mind is fixed always on thinking about how to do good for others by spreading the Sankirtan movement. They're thinking about that 24 hours a day. Then such a person you should dedicate your life to. You should try to get association from such a person. You should give your resources to that person. You should associate in every way that you possibly can. So those are appropriate ways to associate with devotees. And the Srimad Bhagavatam then says, when we see devotees, then we should try to make friendships with them. And incidentally, there's a way in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that we should try to associate with devotees who are swajatiya, they're like-minded. They have a similar sentiment to ours about advancing in devotional service and the ways in which they're practicing and the ways in which they're aligned in devotional service. And when we do that, we find people who are like-minded and more advanced than ourselves. And we associate, then we'll make advancement very quickly. So then the verse, Ishvare Tadineshu, says we should also notice that there are innocent people in the world. Have you ever met an innocent person? Shami Pras has. Nobody else did yet? Okay. Well, how did you know they were an innocent person? And what do you mean by innocent?
They don't display envy. They might even turn out to be appreciative or...
Bhagavad-gita can bring me. They're appreciative?
Yeah. They may turn out to be favorable also. They don't display envy.
What else? How do you recognize an innocent person?
Well, like when I'm on book distribution and I approach someone and I show them Bhagavad-gita or similar Srila Prabhupada's books, their reaction is very, they're just excited to see it. They don't know anything about Krishna, but they really appreciate the ideas and maybe even still engage in so many unwanted activities, but they're not, they don't envy the principles. They're very appreciative of the principles.
Thank you. In the verse I'm quoting now that we're referring to, these innocent people are called Bali Sheshu. Bali means child. So that they have a childlike character. It means they're open to what you're presenting. And in the Bhagavad-gita, this is 13th chapter, 26th verse, Krishna says, Anye tvevam ajanata shrutvanebhya upasate tepi chatintrantyeva mrityum shruti parayana. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about Him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So just like a child might be open to hearing from an adult. So similarly, you present something authoritatively and the innocent person will accept, oh, that sounds very reasonable. They don't have myriad of specious arguments to try to defeat the ideas about God and what you're presenting and so forth. So then the verse mentions that there may be people who are drisatsu, which means they're envious. Have you ever met an envious person? that means they're envious towards God. They don't like the idea of God. And they don't like your involvement in it, and they don't like the fact that you mentioned it. Ever? Who was it? Where were they? Where were you? Sean?
My family.
Your family.
Yeah. My father and my brothers have the consciousness that everything they've earned and done, it's their brilliance, their ingenuity. And so when I try and speak of Krishna, it's a complete allergic reaction.
Allergic reactions. Okay. That could be a sign. Anyone else? You ever run into an envious person?
In college, there was a classmate in my metalsmithing class.
Hold a little closer.
And he didn't like it when I would speak with other classmates about spiritual life. And one day he came up to me and he looked at me and he said, "There's no God and there'll never be." And he walked away.
Wow. That's pretty intense. Anyone else? Let it all out. It's okay.
I met some people on book distribution. I guess I can think of a couple examples. People, or just in general when you're preaching, when you talk about Krishna, or maybe they know about Krishna, especially if they know about the Rasa Leela, then they're just really mad that, that God would do such a thing. They're like, no, that's wrong. That's just completely wrong. And I would never accept that God can do such a thing. Or that Krishna, he told Arjuna to fight on the battlefield. People say, no, that's wrong. God can't do that. So then these completely just shut them down, so they can't get any entrance into, the knowledge, because this envy. They're saying, oh no, he can't do that, because if I do it, it's wrong. Therefore, he can't do it. So.
Thank you. Yes. In very specific ways, people develop an aversion to God, the idea of God, and they even institutionalize those ideas. So I gave just a sketch of various ways in which to, according to Shastra, associate with all types of living entities, because there's a practical way in which we move about the world and we interact with others. And according to Narada Muni, who taught Dhruva Maharaj early on about how to be well adjusted in the world, Narada told him that if you learn how to associate properly with others, then you won't have any anxiety in your life. You'll be properly situated. So this is one of the great arts of living a successful life. It's learning how to relate to all different types of living entities who are affected by various modes of material nature, who are engaged in devotional service and rising above the modes of material nature. Another category, just for the nuance, is mentioned by Kapila Dev in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He describes how there are devotees, and some of them are practicing devotional service in the mode of ignorance. Some of them are affected in their practice of bhakti by the mode of passion. Some of them are affected by the mode of goodness, and others are transcendental. And in the descriptions of some of these, they're actually devotees, Vaishnavas, but they may be affected by lower modes, which is generally characterized by their tendency to be separatists. And also, some of them have a certain degree of vitriol towards others, even as they practice devotional service. And our acharyas have mentioned that just as the Shastra says, and I quoted the verse just now, Ishvare Teradineshu, that we should, towards the devotees, make appropriate friendship. Towards the innocent, we should pour in as much mercy as possible. Towards the envious, we're asked to be indifferent. We should avoid them for their benefit and for ours also. And similarly for Vaishnavas, although they're Vaishnavas and we may respect them within our minds because they chant Hare Krishna, but if their devotional service is affected by the lower qualities, we're also asked to keep a distance. We're not obligated to associate with them intimately. We can show respect from a distance. So these are ways in which the Shastra generally describes associating with different kinds of living entities. And one who learns this art of associating properly and showing the proper etiquette within Vaishnava society will be very successful. There are ways in which we may find conflict, as we talked yesterday, in our association with devotees, because it's natural to find conflict when associating with others. This is mentioned by Queen Kunti. She said that dissension among human beings is due to social intercourse. Social intercourse means that you're hanging out together one way or the other. And human beings naturally have differences of opinion, so there'll be some kind of discord. And we find in the Bhagavatam instances where there's some fairly severe discord between very advanced devotees. For instance, in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find that there was a bit of a kerfuffle between, to say the least, between Daksha and Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, who had a big role in populating the universe early on, became envious of Lord Shiva. And that led to a situation in which there was a huge rumble right at the place of performing a fire sacrifice. And the representatives of Daksha and the representatives of Shiva had a fight in which many people were killed and maimed. And then later on, there was an intervention by Brahma, who came and approached Lord Shiva, who was the superior in this context, and who was also, although he had some involvement in the fight, it was considered that Daksha had instigated because of the way he had excluded Shiva from the yajna, from the Daksha yajna. He had just left him out, neglected a very advanced Vaishnava. So Brahma went along with many other sages and demigods and approached Lord Shiva, who lives in Kailash. And he approached him very carefully, because Shiva is known as Ashutosh, which Ashu means very soon and Tosh means satisfied. He's very easily satisfied, but he's also very easily angered. You can set him off. So Brahma was being careful. And he went to Lord Shiva and he appreciated him first. And then he extended the possibility of Lord Shiva making amends with Daksha. And you can study this entire episode and see the ways in which, even amongst these higher beings, there's dissension and there's fighting and so forth. But then also the way in which it's repaired, which a delegation of advanced devotees headed by Lord Brahma, in this case, went to Lord Shiva and talked to him. There was clear dialogue. First there was appreciation of his stature, and then bringing up of the situation and what had happened. And Shiva then made reparations of kind. I mean, some of the damage was already done. I mean, Daksha's head had already been cut off. But he was accommodated. He was given the head of a goat. And even after all this happened and Daksha came back to his consciousness and he saw Lord Shiva, he also had a change of heart and he asked for forgiveness. And the entire situation was harmonized finally. So I was impressed with the severity of the discord between these very advanced devotees, and then also by the way in which they repaired it at the end and went on. So this is an example for all of us. First of all, one might try to avoid such severe kinds of conflicts amongst devotees. But if it happens, one shouldn't be overly disturbed, as we spoke yesterday, that because of the individuality of all living entities, one should not therefore then say that because I saw Krishna conscious people fighting, therefore the whole process is useless. This is not practical, nor is it the vision of the Shastra, or nor was it the way in which Srila Prabhupada advised us to see the world. And he, as we mentioned yesterday, advised us to understand that such conflict is inevitable, but that advancement means knowing how to repair the situation when it arises. And a similar incident happened when Lord Indra stole the horses from the sacrifice of Maharaj Prithu. And Prithu was angry. And he could have held a grudge. Do you all know what a grudge is? Do you know? What's a grudge?
Like a resentment?
Resentment? Yes, it is. It's like a kind of resentment you carry around. But it's also a little animal. It has sharp teeth and fur and little legs with claws on it. And it's very severe. It's kind of like a wolverine almost, but a little stubbier. And people get these little grudges and they keep them. And they carry them around with them. Sometimes they keep them in a backpack or they keep them under their arm. And wherever they go, the little grudge is snarling. So we're advised, as we see in the pastime of Lord Indra becoming obnoxious and stealing the horses from this great Vaishnav, Prithu Maharaj, when he was trying to do his duty. And then there was a reckoning because Prithu Maharaj was powerful enough and he decided he was going to kill Indra. Of course, his priests told him, don't do it, we'll do it. And they started chanting mantras that would pull Indra into the sacrifice and they were going to kill him. But then Brahma said, okay, enough's enough. Enough fighting here. And so he again descended. And you can see this is the prerogative of a leader. Those who are taking responsibility, they have to see when to intervene and help to harmonize the situation, as Brahma did in the case of the Daksha Yajna. And now, as he's coming, he comes down and he approaches Prithu Maharaj and he says, let's not do this. Why don't you just accept that you did 99 horse sacrifices? Because you see, Indra is famous for having done 100. And when he was about to perform his 100th horse sacrifice, that's when Indra became envious and he stole the horses several times. And he did it in an abominable way. He dressed as a sannyasi, a fake sannyasi. That's what started fake sannyasism all over the world. So, the suggestion by Brahma, he told Prithu, you take the high road and you accept 99 as okay. And what did Prithu do? Yes?
I want to say he forgave him.
He forgave him, and he also said, I'll be happy with 99. And Prabhupada mentions that this didn't diminish his fame. Actually, he became even more famous, that he relented and he allowed Indra to have his 100, and he did 99. And so this shows a very severe situation. Abominable activities had been performed even by devotees, but then there was a resolution. And then they moved on. And so Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Api chet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantabhya samyak vyavasito hisa. If you see a devotee who's properly situated, which means that they're going on with their devotional service, and they accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They have this sentiment. In fact, there are 20 different qualities of a devotee that are mentioned in the Shastra, and Rupa Goswami says, if somebody's missing 19 of them, and they have the one, which is that they have the intention to surrender to Krishna, then they're still counted as Vaishnavas, and you still have to respect them. So, apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. If you see that such a person, even though has worldly qualities, even abominable qualities, but they have the quality of a devotee, that they chant Hare Krishna and they are intend to surrender to Krishna, then you have to consider that person saintly, because then Krishna says, Shri Pram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvash Chantu Nagachati Konteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakti Pranashiti. That I protect such persons and I guide them until they can become rectified. If they're continuing the process of devotional service, then they have to be considered saintly, because they will be in time completely rectified and come to the highest position. So, a couple of points that I've made. One is that it's important how we relate to others. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the way in which a Vaishnava displays proper etiquette is the ornament of that devotee. We should know how to respect Vaishnavas according to their position in proper ways. And if you see somebody doing that, or if you see a community that's organized in such a way to respect Vaishnavas according to their stature, then what you're seeing is a community or a person who is following the process given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in an exemplary way. And in such an environment, one will make rapid advancement in devotional service. When these things are being neglected, and when one's knowledge and practice of associating in appropriate ways with devotees and other living entities is lacking, then what you see is somebody who is not very advanced in devotional service and who will take a long time to advance in devotional service. So that's one point. And the other point is that even in the severest cases of conflict between Vaishnavas, there's a way in which it can be rectified. You have to be patient, and you have to take help from superior guidance. And by doing that, you please Krishna, and you can also move on with your devotional service and become successful in life, which is not a bad idea. And now we'll take some reflections or questions.
And for our online listeners, you can text in your questions and reflections to 720-231-6302. That's 720-231-6302. Thank you.
Our operators are standing by to take your calls 24 hours, but not in a row. What do you have to say? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes.
The question is, we can, you mentioned how we deal with different devotees in different ways. So, we can see how if one neglects the proper etiquette in dealing with a very advanced devotee, one can be implemented in offense. And, there would be a bad result. But what about, the other way? If one, demonstratively respects Kanishta, or, we're supposed to offer obeisances in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
But what if one,
offers obeisances to those who are in a lower position?
Yeah.
That's okay. In fact, when you read the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which you should, you'll find that Krishna explicates the various processes of devotional service like Gyan and Yoga and Sankhya, and there are some lengthy descriptions there of all these processes. When he comes to the description of bhakti, it's a relatively short chapter. And in that, he mentions, does Krishna, that bhakti means to be able to respect all living entities. By seeing that Krishna is there within the heart of the living entity, and also the living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. And therefore he says, a Vaishnava will offer obeisances even to a dog. Shivananda Sain offered obeisance. The dog joined their party when they were going to Navadvip. The dog came up and said, I'm coming, if it's okay. And Shivananda said, he's with us. You let him come. And he made arrangements to feed the dog nicely every night with rice. He told the cook, here's some extra money. You make sure he's fed. He's with us. He's part of the party. The cook forgot and the dog disappeared. And Shivananda Sain became very upset. When they came to Puri, they found the dog was already with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was feeding him personally. The dog went back to Godhead. After we read that section, 11th canto, 2 years ago, we were in Govardhan, and we had just read the chapter the night before, and the next morning we went on Govardhan Parikrama, and we had hoofed it all the way around Govardhan, and we got all the way to Uddhavakund. The sun was just coming up. We were moving along quite quickly on the marg, and as we came up the slight slope to the area just in front of the Sri Uddhavakund, one of our favorite temples around Govardhan, we saw one of the Dom dogs, and he was rolling on his back like this, sort of doing what dogs do. And as there were about 7 of us, a whole group of devotees, mostly brahmacharis, we came up to the top of that slope. We saw the dog, and we all simultaneously and spontaneously remembered the passage we had read the night before about Krishna saying, Vaishnavas offer obeisance even to a dog. And we all got down and offered obeisances to the dog. And then he jumped up on his 4 legs and he looked at us like, what? I've never seen this before. And we felt satisfied. And so there's a way in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chernadapi suni chena. You should feel yourself lower than the grass. You should see all living entities as more worthy than yourself. Even Prabhupada, when he talks about taking the role of a spiritual master, the spiritual master sees that all of these disciples, they're coming, they've been sent by my spiritual master, he said, and I'm serving them. And everyone serves in different roles, but we should maintain within our heart this mood that they're all better than me. And so I'm their servant. And if one maintains that mood, even though there may be some etiquette involved, because if you offer obeisances there's no, let's put it this way, there's no harm in being demonstrative, offering obeisances to others. It's fully allowed and recommended. But there are functional ways in which sometimes devotees, they maintain some etiquette because mercy flows down. And there's a way in which if someone's in a superior position, having practiced bhakti longer and having developed Krishna consciousness to a higher degree than somebody else, then allowing such a person to offer obeisances and offering blessings, for instance, is a way in which there's proper conduct, because the mercy comes down. There is a way in which there are levels in which mercy can flow down, but the mood should always be that everyone's better than me. Yes, Nagar Kirtan. Online comment or question? With 2 minutes left.
We can go past 9 if you want.
I can't. I have appointments.
This is Anita Purohit.
Oh, yes.
She's saying, my question is, does a person at transcendental level, I'll edit the grammar, have to make the same discrimination as mentioned in dealing devotees and with not devotees and non-devotees?
Well, it depends. There are some who are avadutas. They're in a transcendental position, like Jud Bharat. And Jud Bharat had already been through a couple of lives, and when he came out into the world as Jud Bharat, he determined that he would not interact with anybody because he didn't want to become involved in the material world. So he stayed aloof. Similarly, Rishabhadeva, the great incarnation of the Lord, near the end of his pastimes, he became indifferent to all social etiquette and simply wandered the world without showing any regard for social interaction whatsoever. But you'll find that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes, and he is in the position of performing the Acharya Lila. He's showing by his example God, but he's showing how to be a devotee. He respected even the king. Needless to say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in a transcendental position because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he advised his followers that they should show respect to superiors, even in the government, because he said that somehow or other they're in that position means they're empowered by God. So they should be shown respect, not disrespected. And he observed the etiquette. He observed the etiquette when he met with superior Vaishnavas and when he was in association with his spiritual master or his spiritual master's godbrothers, who are to be treated on the same level as one's spiritual master. He also observed that etiquette as well. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by his example exactly what he preached, and that is that the etiquette that the devotee shows is the ornament of the devotee. So we should, unless we've come to the position of the Paramahamsa stage and we've become avadutas, we should be careful to observe the etiquette. As Prabhupada was also when he met Lalit Prasad Thakur, who is the brother of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Although at one point he became annoyed with him, because he had Lalit Prasad Thakur, who Prabhupada wrote to one of my godbrothers later on. They had gone and were associating with him because they were getting all kinds of really nice bhajans from him and his Sangha. And Prabhupada told them not to associate because Lalit Prasad Thakur had a disagreement with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he starts the letter, I saw the original letter, he starts the letter, although Lalit Prasad Thakur is a pure devotee in his own right. He said, still, because he had has a disagreement with my spiritual master, therefore if you associate with him, you'll become confused and diverted from your practice. Therefore I'm asking you not to associate with him. So that there's consideration about the nuance of how one is aligned in devotional service and how one respects others. And I mentioned that Prabhupada, Lalit Prasad Thakur had promised some land to Prabhupada, and then somehow or other he took back the offer, and Prabhupada had become annoyed. And when he was speaking with him, he was a little bit strong, and Brahmananda Prabhu asked afterwards, Brahmananda Swami at the time asked him, Prabhupada, how is it that you were speaking to him like that? And Prabhupada said, you'll notice that I wasn't making statements, I was only asking questions. He said, if you're doing that, you're not crossing the line. Point was that he was aware of the fact that there is a line. And how he dealt with others was very important. This is an extremely important point. This is Vaishnava society, to observe these nuances and to be very careful not to, first and foremost, not to offend other Vaishnavas. There are exemplary Vaishnavas in our line, for instance, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who just filled out a form in which he opted out of criticizing Vaishnavas. You can fill that form out if you wish. It's available online somewhere, and you can download it, and you fill it out and say, I refuse to criticize Vaishnavas of any stature. It's not my business. If they're chanting Hare Krishna, it's okay with me. And as I mentioned yesterday, I was about to mention it, and I forgot what I was saying. Swe swe adhikariya nishta saguna parikirtita. In this verse, in the purport, it's mentioned by the commentary of the Acharyas that there is a way in which if somebody's deviating from the philosophy, Shruti Smriti Paranadi Panchratchiki Vidimbina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Pataya Vikalpate, if somebody is misrepresenting the Shastra and not backing up what they're saying with accurate pramana, then if somebody assails their presentation and it appears to be criticism, that such criticism is okay, because it's to curtail the wrong-headed a presentation that's being given by someone. But again, Prabhupada gave the advice that even in such cases, one should assail the philosophy and not the person who's espousing it. It shouldn't become ad hominem. That means don't attack the person, attack the philosophy. And unfortunately, I'm out of time because it's 9:04. But to be continued. Please tune in again tomorrow at the same time, and we'll continue hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing amongst ourselves. I don't think anybody can stop us. Thank you very much. Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Bo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Vanchakopdurvishya kripasinavevcha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nantakoti vaishnavindiki
Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, hey, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman.